Wow.
Well, this is the last episode of the year.
No, it's the first of the new year.
Is Monday the 1st?
Yes.
Shut up.
Oh my god.
Wait, never mind. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I'm Pioneer Peru.
And I'm Trailblazer Nick. And this is Pioneers and Trailblazers
2024.
That's like so crazy.
That I can do that?
No. No. That's 2024.
Wait, do it. Try it. Do it. Bram.
Was that bad?
That was pretty bad. That was like a Nola, Jassy, like New Orleans kind of bram. Mine's a Jersey bram.
I'm sorry, do it again. Wow. Okay, they should hire you to do that.
Thank you. I am, famously available for voiceover work as well, which I have done in the past for... Did I ever tell you this? It was just for like a medical... It was like a Spanish medical... like
PSA.
It was like for like
educational video.
Yeah, so for grad students or whatever who are like going to get their degrees and whatnot. That's how it works, right?
I mean, I would hope so.
Right. And then they do mock scenarios, and this one particularly was in Spanish.
Oh.
So it was so fun. We recorded in a student Flatiron. It was so chic. I felt so fancy because you get there like that, you get to order whatever, but you also have to record pretty early. So we would get at the studio like at 7:30. We would record for like a couple of hours, and then we would have breakfast. And then I remember very vividly this recording studio had a popcorn machine. Free, of course.
Oh, love.
And I would get myself some popcorn, and I noticed that nobody else was eating popcorn. And I was like, why is nobody else eating popcorn? They're like, oh no, we don't want to scratch our vocal cords for recording.
Yeah, you're not a professional.
And I was like, wow. It's like chomp, munch. I was like,
they're like, sorry, we're good with just water and some aloe spritz on the back of the throat.
Oh my god. Speaking of back of the throat. Honey,
girl, back of the throat. I'm about to turn 25 on Thursday. I need hot loads down my throat, mama.
Oh my god, we gotta talk. Okay, we'll wrap up with your bash, but let's start with all things. Thank you so much for all of those. I guess for all of those that allowed us to have a week off. For all those I didn't, well, I mean, we really didn't take a week off because we just did the bonus episode.
The bonus episode.
Which I hope y'all enjoyed, honestly. I know it was like not what it usually
usual
is, but like there was some buffoonery there, and if you saw the link, the video was giving video.
Yeah, the video's, if you want to watch the video, gives you kind of an idea of like what the live show is sort of like. If you want to ever come, we don't know when the next show is going to be, but
it's happening. It's
happening. Things are happening.
Before we get into a town hall, primarily the first town hall topic this episode, the first of 2024, is going to be from one of you all, actually, a townsperson that submitted a topic.
Okay, townspeople.
But let's go back to the holidays. Let's talk. Let me tell you, the townspeople from out of town on Grindr were loving us.
Thank you. Shout out to all of you.
On Grindr.
On Grindr. I don't know if we should name names. Should we name names?
On the Grindr ones?
The Grindr ones who said that they loved the pod.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know their names.
Oh, okay. Actually, that's really true. Do I know?
I mean, the name was probably just like water emoji, eggplant emoji, hole emoji.
I'm trying to remember. Anyway, there was a lovely person that is a couple of towns over from like where my parents live, I guess, and they reached out to me and were like
literal towns.
No, literal townspeople, and they were like, "We love the pod, huge fan," and I was like, "Oh my god, thank you!" So that means a lot to us. I mean, it's surprised. I'm really surprised, by the.
I was shocked. I was gagged, Tina, and of course, because I'm always a jealous person and I want what everybody else has. Nick, we're texting on our chat. And then he sends me a screenshot. He's like, Mama, got another townsperson. And I was like, oh my God, I went to Houston and I was like, I haven't received it. And then just like, God works in mysterious.
She really does.
She really does. They do. Z does.
God was kind of the first non-binary person because if you read the Bible,
honey,
it says God is neither man or woman.
Yeah.
God is non-binary.
God is non-binary.
Yeah.
So
speak on it.
Yeah, they know what's right. And as soon as I said something to you in that chat, then I got somebody who said like, "Are you Peru from the Pioneers and Trailblazers?" And I was like, yes! Now this person was famously a bottom, so nothing.
And they always are. The ones that message me about either the podcast, my TikTok, whatever. It's always a bottom, and they're like, "Love your work. You represent us." And
I really believe like we may be like unofficially the official bottom podcast. We really are. Like, I really haven't heard, especially like with like queer podcasters or comedians or whatever, even the gay ones. Like, We are solely talking about like bottom specific topics that affect tops and others.
Well, and it's educational at this point. We're teaching.
We should relabel art from comedy to education.
We should get like a grant from like the government because like we are educating the public. Sex education right here every week, every Monday.
Let's see whoever platform is for 2024. I'll vote for whoever's wanting to give us some funding.
That's the only requirement.
Nikki Haley, honestly, word. I'll do it.
Like, you better work, bitch.
You better work, bitch.
Ron DeSantis and his heeled booties.
Okay.
Yes.
Listen, you know what? I stand that behavior. You wear your heel booties. Look at my boots. I always have a platform on. Always.
For those who aren't watching, he has a platform boot on.
Well, no, there's not like platform. They're just, you know, like, well, I guess it is platform.
But those are platforms.
But not heel platforms.
No,
like,
but the ones that he wears, the whole point is that they're not supposed to look like there is like a lift inside.
Right. I mean, he should have been smarter about it and just gotten like a sponsorship, you know, from like Heelys or something.
Heelys?
Or like, you know.
Oh, I'm thinking, isn't that the one where you like they have the wheel in the back of the shoe and you like roller skate?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I wanted those.
The Heelys company too.
Oh my god, I wanted Heelys so fucking bad as a kid, and my mom wouldn't let me get them because she's like, they're dangerous.
I got the light up shoes. You didn't get light up shoes when you were a kid?
I got like one pair of light up shoes and that was it. Because they like ended up like the lights died in them really quickly.
That is so funny because like in, you know, on paper, you know, like I am the more oppressed because, you know, I'm brown, queer, and an immigrant. But like really in our childhoods, like I think I've had much more privilege than you have.
No, I think you did. If we're being completely honest.
Just up until the ages of, I think, 13. Once I moved to America, then they became like, okay, you're king and I'm just else. Should we unpack that?
Wait, okay. Well, no.
Let's unpack oppression.
No, yeah. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Okay, so
white people, which famously Wisconsin's
white,
full of.
Well, it depends on where you go. Depends on like where you go in Wisconsin.
Okay, can we talk about your home? I mean, I said Houston because Houston's huge, so I can say Houston. But if you don't want to,
I'll just say Central. I'll just say Central Wisconsin because that's where I'm from.
Any townspeople from Wisconsin, pop out in the comments. What do you mean by Central? I'm sure it's like one town in Central Wisconsin.
No, there's multiple. I live, but where I'm from is like dead center of the state. But
how big?
A couple thousand.
Your town is a couple thousand?
I mean, I think maybe like 10,000 is like the population.
You really are from like the towns where Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie were going to.
Not really. It was a little bit more. It's a little bit more than that because we do have a branch of the University of Wisconsin in my hometown, which isn't like huge, but it is like one of the campuses is there. And it's a lovely school. Lots of people that I went to high school, majority of the people I went to high school with, you know, stayed and went there. Mm-hmm. It's a lovely school. My sister went there before she dropped out. But yeah. But so it's not like tiny, but it's also not huge. But it's cute. But it was good. My journey to get home was fine and like easy, and then being home, honestly, I was like kind of dreading going home because normally when I go home there's usually some sort of like big drama, and like I can't wait to get home and be like, or home to New York and be like, oh, get me away from these people. But it went by really fast this year. And we also didn't celebrate Christmas on Christmas Day because my older sister and her fiance, famously my older sister and fiance, she's getting married in October. Congratulations, girl. She doesn't listen. But they were celebrating Christmas on Christmas Day with his side of the family, and so they came on like the 23rd, and we celebrated then. And I was like kind of dreading that too, but it was fun. We went bowling as a family because like. We were just like, what are we gonna do? Like we had dinner or whatever because it's just like my immediate family, and then we ended up going bowling, and then I injured myself bowling, which is so embarrassing.
Oh my god, Nick!
I hurt my thumb and like the muscles in my forearm, like whatever.
You're so gay.
So then, no, literally, and I was also so bad at bowling. And then when I went home or whatever the next day, my mom, I had to like have icy hot applied to like my forearm like literally every night, and I had to take ibuprofen because it just hurt so bad and my thumb hurt.
You love being injured at home because they take care of your ass.
They do, and that's what I love about being ill or like injured or sick when I'm like with my mom and dad, because they will treat me like a baby, and that's what I want.
You're Gypsy Rosing. Gypsy Rosing for the holidays.
Gypsy Rose for the holiday. No, she just got released too. Good for her.
Congratulations to her too. Long overdue.
Not long overdue. And then I took sniffies when I was home because I have never looked at the sniffies grid when I was back home.
How was it?
Frightening. Absolutely frightening.
Wait, can we tell them? Okay, so we did FaceTime one time, and I was kind of tipsy Tina.
Oh my God,
remember? Okay, so we were like fucking FaceTime, and then we were like, I did know you could share your your screen.
Because you're young and you know how technology works.
And I know. So then we were like sharing each other's grids
to
and,
like see
what it looked like. And honey, you think Houston is a big city? I mean, I was also in a part of town where like not all the gays were. Like they live in Montrose in Houston, but I was in like the suburbs where my sister lived.
Sure.
So it was pretty much the same.
Yeah. Well, and it was like, so Grindr is a little bit, I mean, Sniffy's, I mean, I don't know what it is about the men in the Midwest that are on hookup apps, but their dicks are small and ugly and the pubes are overgrown. Like they don't, and that's not a read. I mean, that is a read. It's not like, it's not me trying to be like rude or mean. It's just like the photos that they take of their penises, I think it's the angle and also the lighting that also does not help with the situation.
And yes, and honestly, Nick, I feel like there's gonna be a resolution for 2024. The kind of culture that we wanna impart on society is, I would love to teach a lot of these queer men to take a good fucking penis photo.
But the thing is
and
like,
a whole photo.
The thing is like the men in like larger cities, you know, like in queer communities, like understand like how to take photos of their penises, because like I feel we're constantly like share, like I don't know, because like you're constantly being around new people and you
it's like, practice makes perfect.
Versus like if you're in a small town, you see the same people every time. Like I see this exact same people every time on the grid when I go back home, and then they like
it's the same photo from like 6 years ago.
And it's the same photos, or like it's the same kind of photo, same angle, and it's just like bad. And then they're always hitting me up being like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Oh, girl." But the grid
you're like, "Hi, Herb."
Yeah, hey, girl. And I've never really hooked up with anyone from my home. I've hooked up with 2 people from my hometown before off of Grindr, and both of those men, one I blocked, so I don't know if he is still in town, and the other one moved away. And after I pooped on him.
Which happened?
Did I tell you this story? I feel like I did.
No. Oh yes. Yes. I remember.
He was like DL.
He was DL.
Yeah. Did I tell him on the pod?
He was like,
Did I tell him on the pod?
No, you told me in person.
Oh, wait. Okay. Quick recap. I think I told this in a TikTok before, but I can't remember when. But it was this dude.
You drove.
I drove. Well, so he lived in the same apartment complex as like one of my really good friends, and it was the night before I was supposed to go back to New York to start the second semester of, I think it was like my sophomore year of college, and he like hit me up, and we had talked like on and off before, and then he was like, "You want to come over?" And I was like, "Oh, like sure." And so I lied to my mom. I was like, "Hey, can I like stay an extra hour at the party or whatever?" And she was like, "Yeah, just don't tell your dad, and like you have to be home at this time." And I was like, "Okay, fine, great." So then I told everyone that I had to leave. I lied at the party, and I was like, "Oh, my mom says I have to go home now," and everyone's like, "Okay," because like all of my friends from high school like knew that I had like strict parents when it came to like curfew.
Yeah.
I would always have to go home at like 10 p.m. Like I was never allowed to stay out late.
What?
No, literally. And now my younger sister can come and go as she pleases. They let her take the car. They let her do whatever the fuck she wants.
I was out with Haley and Alyssa. Shout out Haley and Alyssa.
Shout out.
We were out till 2 a.m. on her Escalade.
Wow, I wish. No, my parents are like, it's this. As soon as the sun goes down, my dad's like, it's 5 o'clock. It was so I hung out with my best friend Lexi and whatever on Wednesday, and my mom, she lives 45 minutes. She bought a house. She moves 45 minutes from where I'm from. And so she was going to pick me up initially, and I was going to spend the night at her place. But because I had to go visit my grandma the next day early in the morning, my parents were like, you don't spend the night, just like hang out with her. But then it was kind of far for her to like drive all the way to come get me and then take me back to her place only to then drop me back off. So then I was like, well, why don't we just meet halfway? And my mom was like, that's fine, I'll drive you. But then my dad got like really like annoyed with it. He was like, the sun's down, it's nighttime. And I was like, it's 5 o'clock, girl. Like, you think people are gonna be drunk driving at 5 o'clock? Like, what is your problem? I mean, people do. I mean, in Wisconsin, girl, they do. They do be. But I was like, it's so early. And my mom was like, it's fine. And my dad was like, just gets really nervous about it. Anyway, I have helicopter parents, even now as like a almost 25-year-old. And so this guy was like, oh, you want to come over? This is the story from like college. So then I go to this man's apartment. His dick wasn't that big, so I wasn't worried about it. I also was just like, I'm just gonna suck your dick because I didn't prepare for like sex. And so I get there, he's wearing his little basketball shorts, his t-shirt. He's like very like DL mask vibes.
Hot.
Sit down on the couch. He's watching a movie. Yeah, we were watching a movie, and he was like, "Oh, so like you live in New York?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, so like do you ever see like models on the street?" And I was like, "You mean hot people?" Like, yeah, girl, like all the time.
You're looking at one.
No, and he was like, like Victoria's Secret models, like Adriana Lima. And I was like, I wouldn't know what she looks like at the time. Now I do.
Oh,
now I know what she looks like. But then he was like, oh, like she's so hot, dude. And I'm like, I'm sorry, do you know who you invited over?
You're literally wearing this outfit.
No, I'm like literally, and I'm like, I walk in the front door, I'm like, girl, Girl, let me stick your dick, grave. And he's like, yo, like, I would fuck her so hard. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, we were watching Jumanji. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. And then nothing was happening, so I was like, I guess I have to initiate. So I put like my hand on his thigh and started rubbing, and then whatever, he got excited, and then we like started going, making out, whatever. And then he really wanted to fuck. And then I was like, oh, I didn't like and douche. And he's like, oh, I don't care about that. And I was like, well, his dick is small, so like I'm not worried. So then he puts on a condom. We move to his bedroom. He leaves the lights on, like the harsh overhead lighting on.
The harsh like apartment complex lights.
Like a Midwestern apartment complex, carpeted floors, like it's bright. And so he's fucking me, and I'm like,
no duvet,
no, nothing. It was just like a bed sheet, and then he's like fucking me, and it was like good. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have like a regular thing when I get home, yes. And then I smell it. And then I was like, oh no. And then all of a sudden he looks down and he goes, oh. And then he pulls out and he's like, let me go grab you a towel. And I go, oh no, I'm gonna kill myself. Oh no. Gives me a towel, wipes my ass. And then I was like, okay, cool. I like just shot on him a little bit. It was a little skid mark. It wasn't that bad. It like in hindsight, like looking back at now, I'm like, that was literally nothing. Like I've done worse since, but that was the first time that it ever happened. And then I was like, oh my God, I was mortified. And then he like looks down, he immediately got soft. The condom is like barely hanging off his dick at this point because he like and his dick is not big, like I said. His dick is not big. And then he was like, so like what time do you have to be home? And then I was like, oh, not till like whatever. And he goes, oh yeah, you should probably, if you make it back in time. And then I was like, oh cool, he's kicking me out. And then
listen, that is actually a nicer way to
go about it, Sure. But at the time I was like, I was 20, and I was like, this is the first time it ever happened, and I was like absolutely mortified. And then he blocked me on Grindr afterwards. But then he made like a new account, and then I saw him like the following like summer or something, and then I like
you sent him a poop emoji.
No, I think I just said like hey. I was just like hey, and then he didn't respond.
If we're gonna start 2024 being vulnerable, I guess I can share my first. Well, honestly, my first experience, because mind you, I never really started like fully getting ready, like the full works. Like if you're a bottom, here's what everyone be doing this. Everyone's limiting their food intake. Everyone's getting the help of supplements.
You're
like
saying everyone. Meanwhile, I do none of this. You're like, everybody does this, and I'm like, wait, I'm sorry, everybody.
I'm trying to speak for the collective bottoms. Okay, I'm trying to make a PSA for us.
Okay, sure. Maybe this.
Listen. Let me tell you. If you want to have a comfortable like bottoming experience, like the best thing to do is probably not have Chipotle right beforehand. And that's not me being like judgy. It's just me
last night trying to secure dick. I had a full Chipotle burrito, and I was like, I'm gonna get fucked tonight.
Which is why I honestly think God again works in mysterious ways, because I was never a big fan of beans either. Like any of the things that can make your stomach, crummy, or spotty. But anyway. So like I never really started doing a full procedural, as if I'm getting ready for the Olympics, like, which is kind of like what I do now on a like semi-regular basis. Like I'm always doing at least 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Fibering plus douching, or light diet plus douching, or what? I'm always doing a combination.
Sure.
But beforehand, I really wasn't. And then early on in like my sex life, I was dating seriously this one guy who like we spoken about, the one that dumped me at the train station.
Right, of course. Shout out.
Who actually, I think he might be a listener. Actually,
you think?
So if you're listening to this, Dan, honestly. Slay.
Wait, shout out.
Anyway, happily married, quote unquote.
To a man?
Keeps hitting me up though.
To a man?
Yeah, to a man. Yeah, another brown one. You love the browns.
Is he white?
Yes, of course.
I forget that you like the whiteys.
Yeah, he's from Ohio too. Anyway, so I remember a couple times, my first time like getting messy was with him, and like he was, the couple times that I remember it happening, like he was very, very sweet about it. He was like, "Oh, no worries, this happens." Like like I never felt weird about it. And then the one time in which I remember vividly it happening again, and this is the last time that happened. This was like I don't know, like 3 years ago. I went to this person's place right by where I live. just like 10 blocks down. And I remember he had like a really beautiful place, and this was in the daytime too. And particularly, like, I usually like to like start my day like getting ready and doing everything. Like, this was like must have been like 9:30 in the morning, so I must have been really horny this morning. And I never really do stuff like that early, you know?
Oh, I do.
My body just needs to get adjusted, and so that was already a bad sign. Wait, I mean, this is also like a time in which I actually got messy. Not the one time in which I told this clip in this for socials. That one time that I was going over to have a threesome uptown, and on the way there my stomach started grumbling, so I had to like go
You went to Wendy's.
I went to the Wendy's and to have an emergency poop sesh.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh my god, how did I not ever clip that? Well, I'm reclipping it.
I can't remember what episode it is, but
I forgot.
It's the previous one.
Townspeople. So I get there, and then like from the get-go, the dick was bigger than advertised. And then of course, like when you see it big, you have to like, you know, when you see a big dick in person, you kind of have to do the whole, as a person who loves the dick, you have to be like, damn, you know, like, oh fuck, you know, like it's much bigger. But then in your head, you're like doing the mechanics. It's the one episode of SpongeBob when they're all like running around up in flames, like because then like in person you're like, yeah, I love a big dick, but then in your head you're just like, am I gonna be able to do this?
My thought is just the first thought that I have, I guess, is he better finger the fuck out of my hole before he tries sticking that shit in. That's all I think.
My thought is,
or my thought is, oh, he better have poppers.
Poppers, and then like a good rimming session, because some guys like they know what they're doing, so they like spitooning. They're like spitooning the hole. They're just like hotum. Is that the term? Like a spittoon is like a big spit, right? Isn't that the term? Spittoon?
I don't know.
Spittoon! I don't know that. Isn't that what it's called? Like
I feel like
loogie?
I can't Google because my phone's recording. I was gonna Google it really quick, but I don't know. Wait, Google
spittoon?
it.
Okay.
Why do I feel like it's somehow like war related? That sounds like something that's like related to like the military.
Spittoon urban.
I mean, it sounds like
dictionary.
platoon, which is like a.
Oh, Splatoon. A video game series created by Nintendo in 2015.
Oh. What is it?
Girl. Splatooning is not a thing. I think I just made that up. Guess what splatooning is?
Tell us.
Did you know what splatooning was?
No.
It's sex related.
Oh, is it? What is it?
Splatooning. The act of covering your sex partner's entire floor with your cum.
Oh! Entire floor?
Honey, if you're covering an entire floor, exactly. That's my mom picking me up right now because this is an emergency.
That's so much cum.
That's way too much cum. Splatooning, that's just like you just coming on the floor.
Okay, good for them. I'd rather them come on me.
I would rather them come in me. Are you team on or team in? That's the poll for this episode. Do you like come inside or outside?
Wow. We're a Christian podcast, by the way.
We're very Christian. But anyway, not even that much interesting of a story, but I could tell a dick was bigger than what I had prepared for. Like, I woke up, it was early. I think I only like pumped and dumped like twice, douche twice.
Mm-hmm.
So then I remember we started, and he wanted to start like doggy with me, like ass up, like, like facing the window, whatever.
I can't start doggy.
It was a beautiful apartment, actually. The lighting was coming in. His bed was all white. It was like that Raheem OnlyFans creator. Yeah. Raheem Shabazz.
Yeah, I think
who has that like basement, like all white porn hub. And I'm like, what is happening there?
No, I've seen. I am a viewer of his videos.
Yes. Everyone, Raheem, I'm gonna tag you on this, clipping this for socials again.
He'll fly you out to Brazil, Bama.
He lives in Brazil?
Uh-huh.
Raheem Shabazz? All of them live in Brazil?
I think he's got like a content house there or something.
But they all have like a American accent, so I guess they just live in Brazil, but they're not Brazilian. They're American.
Yeah, they're all American, but I think they just live there, like at his house.
Honestly, I would have fun with all of y'all.
It's like the Hype House, but for like OnlyFans.
Oh, yeah.
You know the Hype House?
Of course. Where they'll record content.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I'm young.
Right.
Oh my god, wow, OnlyFans creators also have like, Hype houses.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I would love to be invited. Please invite us to your content house, Raheem Shabazz, and whatever, creators.
I don't want to be recorded, but I would definitely like
Well, I would dibble dabble. All I'm saying is like I would love to go my way through your entire all white apartment, but I will say like I would be self-conscious the entire time. Like why not just make it a different color, I will go into like the red room. Like a different room.
Just get a brown room.
Get a brown
So there's no worry.
There's no worry. But anyway, and I remember like as soon as we started, like I could smell, I could sniff, and then he was like, "Oh, I don't think you're ready," and I was like, "Am I not?"
What makes you say that?
Are you sure about that? And then he was like, "Do you want to go take a shower?" And then he tried in the shower, and even in the shower,
It was too much.
it was
a mudslide.
It was. It was El Nino. It was El Nino. It was El Nino in the shower. I was just like, okay, well, I guess it's not gonna happen. And then we started just talking because I guess once you like shit on somebody, the next thing you need to do is just like banter.
Sure.
So then I was like, oh my god, what do you do? And he was like, I'm a manager at Starbucks. And I was like, anyway, I gotta go. So I left this place.
Wow. Wait, no. Speaking of big dicks, I on my flight home from yesterday.
Yes, okay, tell me yours, not tell me mine.
Literally yesterday.
I'm gonna freak out because you gave me a teaser about this and I'm freaking out.
So yesterday I got home from visiting family, so I flew back to New York. And I had a connecting flight in Minneapolis. So it's in Minneapolis, and there was, first of all, there was a whole thing with the plane because they had to give us a smaller plane because there was like there was a thing with like, I don't remember what the issue was. But anyway, so we like were waiting for a really long time for like 18 people to give up their seats. 18 people.
Wow.
And so then they were offering $1,500 worth of like gift cards to people, and I'm sitting there being like, it is 9 a.m. I have been up since 4 a.m. The next flight to New York, they just said, isn't until like 4 p.m. this afternoon. I was like, I'm sorry, $1,500? Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
I would have said, yeah.
But then I was like, but I need to get home. I was like, I am so exhausted. So then finally they got enough people to like give up their seats or whatever, and then they start boarding, and I was like, thank fucking God. And so they do like the first class, the whatever, blah blah blah, and I'm main cabin 2 because I'm on Delta, which is for the poors.
I flew Delta on the way back, and actually I was just talking about this on the Michelle Collins podcast. It was so comfortable.
No, I do like Delta's. I mean, so far out of everyone, I mean, United is the worst.
It's my favorite.
American Airlines is hit or miss. Delta so far I've only had good experiences. And so I'm in line to like board. It's like the main cabin 2 section, and I was like, finally. And also like, I don't understand the people who immediately when they start calling boarding who aren't into like the last boarding group. Why the fuck are you standing at the front of like the line just waiting? Like we all have assigned seats. Like everyone is gonna get on the plane. This is not Southwest. It is not a free for all. Like relax. Literally relax. Anyway, so I was main cabin 2 line, and then all of a sudden this tall man just like walks past the whole line, just like cuts everybody, and he like has his phone and he just shows it to like the Delta worker, and the Delta worker is like, okay, you can go, and because he must have been an earlier boarding group. But when I looked at him, I said, oh, he looks really familiar. Who is that man? Now I don't know how to pronounce his first name. Is it like Legrand Wolf? He's like he does all of the ones that are like the daddy with the twinks. Like he fucks
the redheadish kind of
redhead, huge,
the one that was fun size boys.
Yes. He I don't know how to pronounce it anyway, but he like fucks like
the one that's always like Dr.
Yes,
like whatever,
Dr. Wolf or whatever.
Dr. Wolf.
Yes.
I am passing out because I totally would.
Oh, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No, because I like have seen his videos, and I don't think he's good at what he does, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the dick is good. I would just like play with it.
But like that's the thing. It's just a big dick. Like it's a big, pretty dick. But like if you don't know,
I mean, he's not ugly either.
No, he's like attractive. But like if you know, but also after like witnessing him in public, I go, oh,
okay, well tell me.
I'm
what
like,
happened.
I don't think I'd be interested. But anyway, I'm just like, he doesn't. I've seen his videos. He does the bare minimum.
And also he like plays like doctors, teachers in it. You know that he's like 31. He's like 30.
No, he's like, yeah, he's like in his honestly like late 30s because he looks older. He like looks older in person.
I was gonna say he looks older for the videos, but
in person he looks like he's in his late 30s to early 40s. But anyway, so whatever. There was so he cuts in line or whatever. So he gets onto the plane, and then finally like we get onto the plane, the rest of the boarding group, and we're in the line. Like everyone's waiting to get to the back of the plane because that's where all of us are because we're all the poor people. And he is like he's not in first class. He's not really in like the business section. He's like in the first like main cabin section. So it's like either way, like he's like not like fancy or whatever. But he was standing in the middle of the aisle, like with his bag was in the overhead thing, and he was just like standing like with like his phone like in the overhead container blocking the walkway. And so then it was this huge line of people, and people were trying to like get around him to like continue to the back of the plane, and just was standing there.
He's like 6'2".
Oh, he's tall, taking up space. And then it must have been like his partner or like his man or something that was with him, because there was this other like faggot who was like got onto the plane and was like kind of like also like a muscle gay, kind of looked like he doesn't look, I didn't recognize him or whatever, but I had seen him and I was like, oh, that's a gay person. And then they were sitting with each other,
of course.
And so I was like, oh, that makes sense. And so then, but he was blocking the whole walkway. And so then it gets to the point where like we stop because someone is putting their carry-on in one of the overhead bins. And so the whole line is stopped and we are standing literally right next to each other. And again, he's blocking the walkway. So he's like touching me, and I have like my suitcase, my backpack, like I have a ton of shit with me. And I'm just like, excuse, like, hello, like, take your seat, bitch. Like, why are you, like, stand up when everyone's through.
Yeah.
Anyway, bothered the hell out of me. And then there was this gay ass.
I'm vocal in the airports. If someone's, I already told this too, like, I tell people to move their things. I would have been like, excuse me.
I was just like, I like rolled my eyes, because then there was like a point where he kind of like took a step back and kind of like bumped into me, and I had to like swerve around him to get around, and I was just like, ugh, and just kept going. And anyway, there was this gay ass flight attendant, and I could like, oh,
you made eyes.
No, she was like, when she like came down, like she was very like flamboyant. She was very excited to be there. Like she kind of reminded me of Reese Havoc. like just like I like just in the way that like they looked kind of similar, but also just like kind of the way like I only know Reese Havoc through like Twitter and everything, but like the pictures that I've seen in the videos, like they carry themselves very similarly. And so then I saw like anytime the gay flight attendant would like ask people if they need anything, would bend down and like put hand on the shoulder of like him, because clearly she recognized, and she'd be like, oh, can I get you something to drink? Like, what can I get you? And then he'd be like, oh, like whatever, because they were only a couple rows up, so I was just like every once in a while I'd like glance over, and it was just so funny to me. And then we got off the plane, and then I like went to the bathroom and stuff, and then we ended up like walking in the same direction for quite some time, and I was just like, interesting. Just looks like I wouldn't. Ultimately, I wouldn't.
Ultimately, I think I would, just for the story, and I don't think he's like. I mean, I think
the story. I guess
he looks like a, he's not ugly. I would definitely like.
He's not ugly, but I just feel like even the story of it would just be boring. Like I can't imagine it being like good. No. You know what I mean? It'd just be like okay, I fucked this porn star.
Yeah. Someone who I saw on my Delta flight, who I thought I thought at first from the back it was the porn star.
Was it not?
It wasn't. I thought it was Austin Wolf in my flight.
Girl.
And I almost lost it because
you talked to him, right?
Girl.
Because we were gonna do
it. And then I was like, hey, girl. Like, it was one of those things where, like, we were supposed to meet up, and then I don't think I talked about this on the pod, actually, but, like,
no, you didn't.
Famously, like, I was tapped. I was tapped.
You were tapped.
I was tapped, and then I engaged in conversation with Miss Wolf to subsequently then make plans and arrangements to meet up. And then he did say famously, are you okay with recording? To which I said,
You're like, ooh.
And honestly, now in 2024, like, I feel like I am so much more empowered than I was before. I feel like I probably would do it once with like I would never do it with like, I'm so sorry, with any like C-list, like B-list, like OnlyFans creator.
I don't know if I'd want to do it with him though, because he's so ran through.
It's not about run.
Well, I mean, like,
that's just sex shaming.
No.
That is sex shaming. Wow.
No, like in the way that's like
Nick is saying Austin Wolf is a used rag.
No, because wow. I was like, he hit me up too when I was in college, and my response immediately, like, he messaged me and said, hey, and I said, because in this profile it says like only looking to record, and I responded, and I was like, hi, thank you so much. If I ever saw my body on film having sex with you, I'd want to kill myself. But thank you so much.
And like, he was like, he has mental issues.
And he literally he literally said, LOL, okay.
I was like, okay, I was like 7 others like
I was like, I was being funny and cute. But this just reminds me, I had somebody a couple of weeks, or maybe it was a couple of months ago on Grindr, a fan of the pod, fan of the TikTok, messaged me and was like, oh my god, hey king, like a huge fan or whatever. And then I was like, oh, like thank you, and then we were like chatting back and forth a little bit, big old bottom. And then he sent me a photo of him and Austin Wolf, and he was like, I had sex with Austin Wolf. And then I was like, and then sent me the photo of the two of them together. He was like, this is the greatest day of my life. And I was like, I'm so happy for you. Like, I'm truly, I am. Like, your dreams do come true sometimes. Yeah. But I just wouldn't want to have sex with him. Also, because, like, first of all, I don't, again, like, it's the same thing with Dr. Wolf. You know, it's like, I've seen what they've done, and I'm not super into it. I just feel like it's less about. It's more so.
No, you can't compare Austin Wolf with Dr. Wolf.
No.
Like, they're Austin Wolf does work.
He does work, but again, it's
not what you're into.
It's not what I'm into because it's less about. It's more. I don't know. It feels less about the connection. Like for me, sex. It's about me and the other person both enjoying ourselves together, and watching those two performers with the people that they're having sex with. It does feel very like they're only caring about their own pleasure versus the other person's pleasure, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think it's also on the dynamic. Like specifically with Austin Wolf, I feel like Austin Wolf's porn is specifically meant to cater like that one window of like people who want the dominant top and the submissive bottom. Like, you know, people who are watching specifically Austin Wolf's videos are not watching it to see the bottom like take over. They're really watching, to see someone get subdued and whatnot. Sure. So like in that,
but I also love that. That's my favorite kind of porn. I love a dom top and a sub bottom. But there are ways that you can do it that like it can still feel like both people are like connected with each other. It feels like oftentimes
it depends on the bottom too.
And oftentimes
some bottoms are just like meh.
Some of the videos that I see with Mr. Austin, it does feel like they're like. It's like it literally doesn't matter who like you could interchange the bottom and it's like the same thing. You know what I mean? Like he's just there clocking in.
Well, that's a couple that he has more connections with. Yeah, sure. I would say like look more into. I think Miss Austin Wolf's pairings with Porfy's Max. Porfy's.
Oh, I love her. She's good.
Porfy's. Hi, Porfy. Shout out to Porfy's.
Her video. She has a video with Lance Charger. Do you know Lance Charger?
It sounds familiar. I'm sure of seeing a video, but
he's my ideal daddy.
What's the name?
Lance Charger.
This is like going back to our roots, y'all. Going back to our roots. Lance Charger.
His video that with Porfy are so fucking hot. I will go back to it all the fucking time because first of all, the directorially.
Oh yeah, not my type, but I do see how this is absolutely your ideal scenario. This is daddy goals.
No, that reminds me.
Not this.
He bottoms.
He bottoms,
but he mostly tops.
Who's this? Teach Me Grandpa. Have you seen Teach Me Grandpa?
Honestly, he does do twink top. Like the twink top videos. I sometimes will get off to those because I've only topped once in my life. But like
I'm seeing more bottoming from him on this explore page. Oh my god, look at this twink top.
No, but I would top him.
Cold Blue and Lance Charger. Cold Blue is hot.
But he does a lot of topping videos.
Oh, Cold Blue is. Do you know Cold Blue?
Is that the twink that was topping him?
Yes.
Is he a redhead?
He looks blondish, strawberry blondish. Oh, Cold Blue.
Oh, not for me. But
Cold Blue looks like all of the freaking twunks tops that have been fucking me lately.
Yeah, he does.
Cold Blue is my 2023.
Hit him up.
In review.
Hit him up.
We should do a 2023 review, but it's not like stupid things that everyone is doing, but it's just like all the guys that we fucked.
I don't know how am I supposed to remember? How am I supposed to keep track?
Me neither. I'm just gonna be like, just go through like your screen grabs or like your history.
Oh sure. I'm trying to remember. What was I gonna say? Oh, someone asked really quick. Oh, this is unrelated. Sorry.
What?
I was gonna say I read on one of the comments on one of the videos. Someone asked me what happened to Sniffy's twink.
Sniffy's twink. And, just quick update.
We haven't talked. Nothing bad happened. We were supposed to hang out over Halloween, and then he fell asleep, and then we just haven't really texted since. Which is like fine. Like I'm not really that heartbroken over it. And then DL Daddy did hit me up over Christmas.
You told me this.
I told you this, but I'll tell the pod just to give a little update. It was Christmas Eve, I believe, and I was at home. I was watching a movie with my parents, and I all of a sudden get a Grindr message. And he was like, hey, like, what are you doing? Because a couple of days prior, before I flew out back home, I was at work. and I like had messaged him on Grindr or whatever, and he like messaged me, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna be back in the city at the end of January. And I was like, oh, lovely, like can't wait, like perfect, like we can hang out or whatever. And then he was like, can I FaceTime you right now? And I was like, oh, I'm at work. And he's like, oh, I'm up on my roof, like whatever, like I have a moment, like if I just would love to like say hi or whatever. And I was like, sure. So we like FaceTimed while I was at work, and he was just like, oh, I can't wait to like see you, I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you. And I was like, I was like so horny. And so then on Christmas Eve, I was watching this movie with my parents, and then he messaged
Soulbird.
No, I watched May December with my parents, and my dad was like, that's a little slow. And I was like, I'm sorry, are you not seeing the mother off that's currently happening between Julie and Moore?
It's a slow-paced film, but
it's good. It's so good. But unfortunately, my parents don't appreciate film in the way that I do. They like we watched, what movie did we watch? We watched like The Lost City with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum, and like,
oh, that one, like funny action film.
They loved. I was just like, oh, okay, like this is just like a plain movie. Like you'd watch this on a plane, and as soon as it's done, you'd forget about it, you know. But anyway, so he messaged me, and he was like, oh, can I FaceTime you really quick? I'm about to hop in a shower, and I want to like show off. Like I want to show you. And I was like, oh, I'm watching a movie right now with my parents. Like can't get away, but like if you want to record it and send it to me, like I'll send you a video when I take a shower tonight. And then he went, no. LOL. He's like I want to just do it live. And I ultimately, I mean, it's because I'm sure he doesn't want to have like video evidence or like, you know, like evidence that he's like sending me a shit, because he's DL and he's worried about it, I guess.
And married with kids.
Right, married with children who are all adult, and some are older than me. Okay. I do need to ask though if his wife knows, because if
she doesn't,
but they could be very. I mean,
he's so secretive. If she knew, he would be a lot more open about
that's
it.
Really true. So now I'm like, ugh. I'm not a bad person.
Not a bad person. Listen, before we rat your ass as the bad person that you are, oh my god, we've already gone 40 minutes and we haven't gone to like
I'm the Ariana Grande of like Gen Z. I'm breaking up families.
You're breaking up Well, Ariana Grande is Gen Z.
No, she's not. She's like 30.
She is?
Yeah, she's a millennial. She's a millennial.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
I could never.
Right, you could never.
I could never.
But anyway, I
will never.
Anyway,
I'm gonna die at 27 like Amy Winehouse and all of them.
Don't say that. Knock on wood.
Well, you're past. That's not true, everyone. He's just spreading lies.
She's 57.
Listen, 57 and thriving. But listen, I do want to get to a quick portion of the town hall, because this is something that was suggested by us. Thank you to everyone who sends us DMs, either individually or to the main account at Pioneers and Trailblazers on Instagram and TikTok.
Still no dick pics in my DMs, but
mine
it's fine.
Have been really thriving. Thank you so much. Also, let me just give you a quick pointer on all the nudes that you're all sending me. Sorry, Nick,
let me critique really quick.
This is my portion, Nick. You can take a break on this one.
I'm gonna sip my drink.
But I really appreciate everyone. Now, I did get people just up in flames because you weren't on my close friends for like the thirst traps I was posting over the Christmas in the tub. A lot of y'all were trying to be funny and saying it was douche water or tomato soup.
No, I saw that. I saw Tim's comment being like, "Mama, the douche water gotta go in the toilet," and I laughed so hard. I was like, "That is so." Oh, he's so funny.
It's hilarious, but also as it's a testament to that post, if you want to see it, my thirst trap on Insta, like I am fully aware and I will double down and go with it, you know? Like I am going down with the jokes. I'm with you all, you know? Like
she's in on it.
I'm in on it. I get it. It was a bath bomb, okay?
Yeah. That's what she calls her shits.
Yeah.
A bath bomb.
So you know, I there were some people. Listen, when you're trying to hit on somebody via DM and like send nudes or whatever, like you have to start. I know I've said like send me your nudes, send me your dicks, you know, whatever, and like I appreciate it, but there is an art to the ones, and like you'll know, like there are the ones who have quickly been added to my close friends. There are the ones who like I'm actually continuing to have conversations with some of you. There is an art of like, you know, start firing some of the stories, you know, start sending like a winky face, a devil face, and then like I will give you the go ahead, right? Mm-hmm. Like there were a few people who did just send me like a flat out dick pic, in which case thanks again.
I love.
I will look at it a bit more objectively if you're just sending me a nude, like, and I'll just like review it, and like, you know, it's hard to. When somebody sends you a nude, like just right off the bat, it's hard to just like respond like, haha, thanks, and like, how are you doing? You know, like it's you have to be caught in the mood for it to warrant the response that you want.
Sure.
So I would say, pro tip, if you want to continue sending me videos or fun, you know, like first of all, you know, if I've sent you something in return, it means I'm into it. So keep doing it. But also, you know, play into it. You know, don't just like throw it out there, you know, like be coy about it. Send me some like devil emojis, send like a tap flirt.
It's the art of flirting.
Yeah, and then, you know, I'll give you the go ahead, or I'll send you, you know, I'm a big fan of the like, oh yeah, winky face, and then go right ahead, send me the video, send me the pics, you know, like,
sure,
yeah. I love verbal. But anyway, I'm just setting them a request.
Please.
Thank you so much. But anyway, so one of our dear townspersons, and I'm so sorry, I did have it at some point saved, but I forgot. They want us to discuss this. What is a twink, and what constitutes a twink? There's been a big debacle.
That has been a huge debate online recently too.
I know. So like, I really want to demystify that really quickly, because let me tell you, people will look at Nick and I and they will say two twinks. Mm-hmm. And that wouldn't be like a stretch. That would, you know,
No.
we've been called twinks.
I've referred to myself as a twink online on my TikTok.
I'm labeled on twink.
Oh yeah,
twink.
and people will be in my comments being like, he thinks he's a twink, and I'm like,
which is so funny, because like, to me, twink has much more weight. LOL.
I mean,
has less weight in presentation than in age, because it's just hard to tell how old somebody is. And like, I've seen plenty of like, I've seen plenty of like late 30s girlies who be looking twinky, and I would call them twinks. Like,
sure.
I would not call them. I was called an otter recently online by somebody.
But you're not even hairy.
I think just from the bathtub pics that was giving.
But even
like,
that's like, even like an otter has more hair than
I
that.
understand. So like, I was called an otter, and I was like, am I an otter? Do you all think I'm an otter? What do you think I am?
I mean, ultimately, I do. I mean,
idiot.
it is subjective. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like person to person, it ranges. But I think like a twink is someone who is, one, I think youthful in energy.
Check.
Hairless.
Check.
And then like thin.
Check.
And those are usually like the three kind of main like descriptors for that. But like
so I'm a twink.
But on
right?
Twitter recently, someone got into hot water because they referred to Jacob Elordi as a twink.
Girl.
But like, Jacob Elordi is honestly like, he's a giant, so like it doesn't like,
he's a jock.
Like, he's a jock, and like there's a difference because he's like, there's twink and there's twunk, which is like the in between.
Yeah, but I don't think Jacob Elordi would be a twunk. He's a jock.
I think he might be a twunk.
No, are you kidding me?
He's thin.
No, he's built. He's athletic. He would qualify as athletic jock. He would not. He would hunk. He would not qualify as twunk. Twunk is a Lance Blue porn star. That's a twunk.
Cold blue.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Cold blue.
Sure. I guess if you're tall, you're not a twink anymore.
Oh, and which I guess, you know, like, I guess tall rights. Like, if you're 6'4" and you consider yourself a twink, I am so sorry, but like, no one's looking at you as a twink. At the very least, they're looking at you as a twunk. But even if that's, to me, a 6'4" skinny person is a skater. I would qualify them as skaters, skater boys, you know, like alternative skater.
I do want to climb him like a tree.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be like, oh, I want that twink. I want that twink.
I wouldn't call him a twink either. Like,
he's a jock.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't. Twink is like, it's, I don't know. You know when you know. Like, when you see somebody, you can just tell.
Yeah, but I guess if we're gonna demystify it, it's like I would consider twink somebody less based on age and more based on appearance.
Yeah, it's based on like their energy
and
too.
Energy.
It's it's like a youthful energy. It's smooth. Typically is how people describe it.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you once, my principal at my Catholic high school, he one day at a whole school assembly referred to the entire student body as twinks. And I was the only one that knew what that meant. And then I immediately was like, I'm sorry, is he a closeted gay man? And I think he was.
In which way? Like how he was like, you twinks need to praise Jesus.
Yeah, no, he was like, you're all just a bunch of twinks or something. And like literally everyone was like, what the fuck does that mean? And I was like, he's gay. And then he left the following year. He
Got relocated.
No, I think he retired. I think he just retired.
He retired.
But
we know what they do.
But he definitely gave me like deal. Like he had a wife and everything, but I'm sure he was up on my grinder, and I'm sure he was watching that twink porn.
Oh, I'm sure.
But it was so funny because I was the only one. Everyone was like, "What is he saying?"
He was like staring directly at you.
No, he was like
twinks.
He was looking at the audience. He's like, you twinks, and everyone was like, what the fuck is that? And I was literally.
Maybe he meant twerps.
No.
He
said twink. Like I'm sorry. And how do you? First of all, if you've never heard the word twink before, how would you mess up twerp and twink? How would you mix that up if you've never heard that word? Straight people don't know what a twink is. My dad.
Yeah.
If I were to say twink to
lexicon?
my dad would be like, I'm sorry, what? Are you having a stroke? Like, what's happening?
Should we start a challenge?
What?
Wait, should we start like a challenge, like a TikTok challenge or something, where like we like tell people who are like listening to the podcast, like make a video of yourself telling like the nearest like straight person that you know, and be like, you're such a twink.
Well, that's
and
kind of already a
response.
Thing. People are kind of like, people have already been. There was a thing online. This one person was like trying to explain to their grandparent what a twink was.
Yeah,
and then their grandfather was just like, huh? And then she was like think of look at the person who's sitting right next to you. That's a twink. And then it's like a skinny like college student. And then he's like, huh? Well,
it would be funny if like you're just like out and about, you're like we're hanging out with like some straight people, and like the closest straight guy, you're like, hey, you're such a twink, and they just like film their reaction, and like they don't know what's happening, and then they're like, wait, what do you mean? That's kind of funny.
Sure.
Maybe I'll do a compilation of me doing it to straight people I know in the city, or just out and about, and then I'll see, how that works and how that goes.
I don't really know a lot of straight people.
I have a wide array of friends.
I don't. Yeah. I keep the group small.
I gotta keep the networking going.
Speaking of keeping the group small, that's why my group for my birthday is so tiny.
Oh my god, your birthday! I'm so excited to be celebrating with you.
Me too. My mom.
Go ahead.
My mom. So, we celebrated my birthday. Like, I celebrated my birthday with my family yesterday because it was like my last day in town, and I'm not gonna be with my parents for my birthday. And we like every time it got brought up that I was like turning 25, my mom would go, I was so depressed when I turned 25. And I'd be like, okay. And then someone else would be like, oh my God, you're going to be 25. And my mom would immediately interrupt. And she's like, when I turned 25, I was really depressed.
Well, she probably already had one of your siblings, no?
No, she didn't have kids until she was after 30. She waited.
Wow.
Yeah. My mom was older when she had kids. Yeah. But my mom was like, she's like, I just felt so old. And then she's like, and then I was depressed when I turned 30. Because I wasn't going to be 20 anymore, in my 20s anymore, and then I got depressed when I was 40, and then my mom's going to be 60 this year, and she's like, and now I'm going to be depressed when I turn 60, and
she's just depressed.
No, and then my dad was like, age is just a number, sweetie, and she's like, I know, but I'm not, actually, this is like the first birthday that I think will be good, because last year was a good birthday, because I saw Kate Berland's one-woman show with my friend Vin, and it was lovely, and we went out to dinner, and I had a really great time, and then we went out to drinks afterwards. We went to Julia's, remember? So that was fun, but I was also in such an emotionally distraught place at the time. I don't know if you remember.
A lot was happening.
It was with my little sleepover situation, kind of thing. I will say, like, when I went back home,
sleepover situation.
When I went back home,
one day we'll talk about this.
One day, no, and I'm working on a piece of art right now that's inspired by that whole thing. So stay tuned.
Wow.
Stay tuned. But
OnlyFans.
It's my hole.
In hole with Nick.
But when I went back home for Christmas, I was reflecting back on last year, like where I was, and I was like, wow, I've really come a long way. I was super depressed last winter. I was like, oh my God, my whole life changed because I got a whole new living situation, like whatever. My whole life got turned upside down, and here we are, and we've grown.
On the other side.
We got on the other side, and we're much happier. And then I will say, last night after there was an event for the Brooklyn Art House, which is the venue that we host Pioneers and Trailblazers at.
And I will be hosting New Year's Eve, which by the time this goes up, it would have been last night, and we had so much fun. And then I'll be doing hosting award season at Brooklyn Art House. If you're in New York, come see me hosting the Golden Globes coming up on January 6th.
Check the socials.
Check the socials.
But they like had this like event that was like a ball to celebrate all of the different people who like have put on shows there and everything. And I don't know, it made me very grateful, and it also like made me very proud of like everything that we've done, and like we fully like made a show like from start to finish, produced it, wrote it, starred in it, and like did it do it monthly, and like we get people to come, and like we built this podcast. So I've been feeling very grateful. I've been like, wow, I've like really, I mean, yes, this past year was very difficult and tough. 24 was probably like one of the hardest years.
2023.
No, the age 24.
Oh.
Because I'm about to turn 25.
Gotcha.
2023, yes, but I was 24 during it. But this was definitely a tough year emotionally. But I also am like looking back on it now, and I'm like, wow, I did like a lot of really cool things, and like I'm very grateful and very proud and very happy that, you know, like things are like looking up. So I literally left the event, and I was like smoking my joint, and I was like, oh my God, am I happy? Oh my God. And I literally was like, oh my God, I think I'm happy with my life. And I was like, that's crazy, because I don't think I've felt that in, God, like years. So I'm very grateful, and thank you to all the townspeople.
Yeah, too. And I can tell the difference, and I can actually pinpoint the one thing that I feel like turned it around for you.
What?
Me.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, from this last birthday you had to the one you're coming next week, I think.
What do you mean?
I think I'm much more constant presence in your life.
I mean, you were a presence in my life even then too.
Well, yeah, famously, but at that point, famously was the one thing that you thought we were friends, and then I was just.
You
like,
didn't think we were friends then, because you literally were like, we're doing something for your birthday. You literally were like, we're gonna get drinks for your birthday last year.
Of course, I'm like that with everyone.
So I wasn't special?
I just love a birthday.
Wow. Oh, so it's just an excuse to party for you.
Well, of course. No, but then...
Wow. You heard it here first, folks.
Listen, it wasn't until, like, closer to my birthday, like, around March, when we, like, you know, started like, really talking about this, and, like, went to see Brooklyn Art House.
Right. Career.
And then I was like, you know, one time we were at work together, and then... You know, we were like in that little dungeon location in which you may or may not work. And then I was like, we're doing something together. And then you were like, and I was like, no, we're doing something together.
I was like, okay, whatever.
You're like, okay. Then we went to Shake Shack.
We did.
And then at Shake Shack, Pioneers and Trailblazers, the name was conceived. I know it was me because I'm funny, but I don't know what kind of conversation we were having in which I was like, well, Pioneers and Trailblazers. And then like you were like, wait. And then like, we were talking about Pioneers and Trailblazing. And then at that Shake Shack, the concept of Pioneers.
She's taking credit. Everyone. No. So everybody knows she's taking credit.
I know. I came up with Pioneers and Trailblazers. The sentence came out of my mouth. I don't remember if it was me that was like, that would be a good idea for something. No, maybe it was you that said Pioneers and Trailblazers, and I was the one that said that would be a good idea for something.
I just remember that someone said Pioneers and Trailblazers, and I think you went, is that it? Is that the name?
Oh, okay.
And that was how it happened. I can't remember which one of us said it, but I do remember it was like, you were like, wait, maybe that's the name. And
well, I mean, I do famously coin the titles of the app.
You do like to take that responsibility on to yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you do, and it's good. I mean, usually good. Sometimes, I mean, yeah.
I mean, we workshop throughout the episode.
Yeah, we workshop, and that's the thing.
The one that we chose.
I'm really good at editing.
Well, actually, I edited not the one at the New York Comedy Festival, yes, but I edited the one before.
No, I mean editing.
The audio was clearly better because maybe
I'm not talking about editing the audio. I'm talking about just, like editing when it comes to just life in general, like writing.
Oh, like, writing. Okay, good. Thank you for getting that clarification.
I'm really good at. Fuck you. I'm really good at editing. Shut up.
Listen, all I'm saying is that ever since I edited the podcast, my audio suddenly became crystal clear.
So do you want to edit the podcast tonight then?
I could, but I don't have time.
Okay, so you better suck it up then and do what I do.
Listen, I will.
Okay, good.
If that means my audio's going to be clear.
Your audio is always clear.
No, my audio was echoey towards the last half of the other few episodes, and I was like, Nick, what's happening? And then I just go.
That's your fault.
No, I go into my editing software, and I took
What
the
editing software do
time.
you use?
I use Filmora.
Is that on your phone?
No, it's on my computer.
Oh,
Because I don't edit on my phone.
I have to do it on my phone
because
because I don't have enough storage space on my computer to do it.
You know what? I think I might edit it. I think I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna edit.
I was gonna do it today at work.
Well, I want to hear it. Because the audio that you edited for me, the last other episodes have been so echoey, but you sound crystal clear. And then when I do it, I took the time to edit my audio.
Oh, you think I'm trying to sabotage you or something?
I think you're just like, just being like, oh, sounds fine.
Actually,
also, you famously told me, Nick, that like you listen to your portions and then fast forward through mine.
No,
yeah, you're listening to that.
You do the same thing.
I don't. I listen to the whole thing.
Liar.
Together.
You laugh because you said that you do the same.
No, I said I look at myself the entire time. When I'm rewatching the podcast, when I sync it, I watch the whole thing, but I'm just staring at myself.
No, I listen to make sure that it's like the audio is fine, but I don't actually listen. I don't listen to the content because I already heard it. I'm like, oh, I know what he's gonna say.
Interesting.
And that's why.
Anyway, do you have a Pioneer? I have a Trailblazer.
Oh yeah, actually, this is gonna be controversial. Actually,
oh my god.
My Pioneer or Trailblazer for the week is gonna be the staff at Chick-fil-A. Because my heart goes out to them.
Am I editing this?
Because no, but hear me out. Because my mother.
I am shocked you said that, Nick.
My mother.
I am shocked.
My mother. We went on a shopping trip when I was home, and the closest Chick-fil-A is like an hour away. And so we happened to be in the town in which there's the Chick-fil-A, and my mom was like, oh, we should go. What my mom does, I found out that she does this. Whenever she's in that town, she'll go and like stock up on a bunch of food and then just take it home and put it in the fridge, and then her and my dad will like reheat it and like eat it like later within like in the week or whatever. And so that's what she did. So we went through like the drive-thru and stuff, and we got food and whatever. And then I've been through the drive-thru before, but I don't know what drugs they were on that day, but it was as if someone had a gun to their head and was like, ask them how their holidays were, ask them how their Christmas was, because every single person, there was 4 different people that we had to interact with before we finally got our meal. So we had to first take the order from the person, and then there was another person that was standing with an iPad that you had to pay, and then there was another window where you got like the napkins and shit, and then there was another person in which that actually gave you your food, and each person one by one was like, did you have a good holidays, what'd you get up to, like making conversation. And first of all, my mom and I, like, we don't like that. We're here, we're in and out, like, let's go. And they were just like, it was so awkward too, because the last girl, we were waiting for our food, and she was like, did you have a good holidays? And my mom was like, mm-hmm. And then we just kind of sat there, and she's like, oh, what'd you guys do? And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what? But it was like, but also the girl who was talking, it was, like I said, it was as if someone had a gun to her back, but we just couldn't see it. And they're like, say it, ask him right now. So my heart goes out to the Chick-fil-A workers, because I know that they're probably forced to be like overly social with people, and especially during that time of the year, like, girl, what's the last thing you want to do? So they're my Pioneer and Trailblazer.
Wow, this is very controversial, and we're keeping it in.
Oh, and then my sister was like, she's like, how can you eat that? She's like, how could you eat that? And I was like,
that's what I told my mom.
I was like, you have to pick and choose your battles, and this is not a battle that I want to fight.
Do you want to air something else you consume?
That's it. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Wow. Well, there goes Nick actually revealing his true colors.
I also consume cum. Next. What's your Pioneer and Trailblazer, bitch?
My Pioneer is... Well, I was going to tell you, did you see that TikTok video of the guy who's trying to, like, gotcha this worker at Target? And he's like, do you support Targets? You know, like, do you support the Demon and Satan? And she was like... and you could tell she was caught off guard, but she was like, actually, I do. I support Satan.
I've seen that video. Yeah. I love her.
So what about God? And she's like, I don't believe in God. So
yeah. So anyway, you can leave.
You can leave. Yeah, she was a slave.
Love her.
My Pioneer is
also those workers might not be homophobic. It's the company itself. And I wasn't paying. My mom did. Anyway, next.
Great. Okay. Cool. Yeah, keep justifying it. Keep justifying it.
We should all be attacking my mother. She has a gay son, and she's supporting homophobic
We should talk
chicken.
about what we ate earlier.
What did we eat earlier? We ate delicious food. Next.
All right. My partner Trailblazer. Shout out to all the people that gave me gifts over the holidays. Love my boots. Love, oh my God, Ale from Rag and Bone and Jeffrey from Theory. Thank you for your gifts. I am so blessed.
Do they listen?
I don't think they listen, but like I'm just happy that I'm in a place in my life where like people just give me gifts of luxury clothing.
Gifts of finest wheat, come give to us, oh saving Lord, the bread. Okay, anyway, it's a church song.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I promise that I do have. I'm trying to produce that popper situation for everyone, for all of us to have. It'll happen, I promise, in the month of January. So just stay tuned for that. I'm gonna force Nick to like invest in that, even though he hates spending money on the podcast.
I hate spending money in general.
And then please go on all of our socials. I am at Hey Peru on Instagram and on TikTok. I am not on X.
I'm on at Nicholas.Rose on Instagram, Clownface Binch on TikTok, and Clownface Bitch on Twitter. And then you can follow us on Pioneers and Trailblazers on Instagram.
Yes, and on TikTok, and subscribe to the YouTube. Thank you for letting us reach our 102 reviews.
We're at 106 now.
106?
106.
Oh my God, listen, those things really help. On Apple Podcasts, leave a review. Those are the things. We're really working on big things for this year. So we really need to get those metrics going because unfortunately in capitalist Joe Biden's America, metrics are all that matter. And so we want to get up on those rankings. We're getting near to 1,000 subscribers, y'all. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And you guys maybe give us some recommendations or ideas on what y'all want us to do when we hit 1,000 subscribers, because it's happening sooner than later. We show whole.
I show my
Should we show nude?
I show my pastrami meat flaps.
Should that be it?
My skin tag on my hole.
What kind of nude would you be willing to share if we reach 1,000 subs?
A nude?
Yeah. Would you like
Where
to share
would
a
we
nude?
posted it?
Like I don't know.
Where would it
Like
go?
our close friends.
Oh,
We could do a Pioneers and Trailblazers on Insta, like on a close friend.
friends.
Both of us can post a nude.
Wait, but then how do we decide who's on the close friends list?
Well, stay tuned.
Patrons.
Patrons.
You can pay. Stay tuned. Okay. Bye.
Happy New Year.